Welcome back, champions. Today we unravel the essence of what it truly means to lead with the strength and wisdom of a Caesar. You are about to delve into the ancient Roman code of respect and loyalty, the virtues that carved the paths of legendary leaders and generals. By the end of this journey, you'll be equipped not just with knowledge, but with an inner fire to master these timeless principles in your own life. In the shadowed corridors of history, where the echoes of marching legions and the clashing of swords resound, we find lessons that transcend time. The Roman generals, men who commanded the respect of entire nations, did not rise to their thrones of power through mere force. They were the embodiment of a code forged in the fires of virtue, discipline, and a deep understanding of human nature. They mastered the art of leadership in ways that are as relevant today as they were 2,000 years ago. Now imagine standing on the edge of the battlefield, the weight of an empire resting on your shoulders. The men before you, soldiers with their eyes fixed on you, await your command. They are not driven by fear alone, but by an unwavering loyalty to you, their leader. What is it that makes them stand by you, ready to face death if need be? It is more than just the authority of your position. It is the virtues you embody, the strength of character that they can feel, not just see. Roman virtue was not a mere philosophy. It was a way of life, a relentless pursuit of excellence in every aspect of one's being. The Romans had a word for this: virtus, which encompassed courage, discipline, and moral integrity. These virtues were the backbone of Roman leadership. Cicero, the great orator and philosopher, once said, "The function of wisdom is to discriminate between good and evil." It is this wisdom that we must cultivate, a wisdom that allows us to lead with both respect and fearlessness. Let us begin with Pietas, the virtue of duty and respect towards the gods, one's country, and one's family. For the Roman leader, this was not just about religious observance. It was about understanding one's place in the grand scheme of things. A leader with Pietas understands that they are not an isolated figure of authority, but part of a larger fabric, woven together with their people, their nation, and the divine. It's about recognizing the responsibility that comes with power and the duty to uphold the values that define a society. The great Caesar himself was known for his pietas, as much as he was for his military prowess. He respected the traditions of Rome and led with a sense of duty that endeared him to both his soldiers and his people. Next, we move to Fides, the virtue of trustworthiness and loyalty. A leader who does not command trust is a leader who commands nothing. Fides is the bedrock of any lasting relationship between a leader and their followers. It is said that Scipio Africanus, the conqueror of Hannibal, was trusted not only because of his military genius, but because of his unwavering loyalty to his men. He shared their hardships, stood by them in times of adversity, and in doing so, earned their undying loyalty. Today, in our modern world, where loyalty is often fleeting, the principle of Fides stands as a beacon, a reminder that true leadership is built on trust and mutual respect. Gravitas, the virtue of seriousness and dignity, is perhaps one of the most misunderstood Roman virtues. It is not about being stern or unapproachable. Rather, it is about carrying oneself with a sense of purpose and responsibility. A leader with gravitas inspires confidence simply by their presence. They do not need to shout to be heard, nor do they need to dominate to be respected. Their very demeanor commands attention. Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, exemplified gravitas in his leadership. He was a man who, even in the most casual of settings, carried the weight of his role with dignity. He knew that as the leader of an empire, his actions, his words, even his silence, spoke volumes. Disciplina, the virtue of discipline, is the iron that tempers the sword of leadership. The Roman legions were feared not just for their numbers or their tactics, but for their discipline. A leader who lacks disciplina is like a sword without a blade. useless in the heat of battle. The generals of Rome, from the cunning Julius Caesar to the relentless Trajan, understood that without discipline, even the greatest strategies would fail. Discipline is not just about control over others. It begins with control over oneself. A leader who cannot master their own impulses, who cannot stay the course when the winds of fortune change, is a leader doomed to fail. Then, there is Clementia, the virtue of mercy. In a world as brutal as ancient Rome, mercy was a sign of strength, not weakness. Julius Caesar was known for his clementia, his ability to show mercy even to his enemies. After the Civil War, instead of punishing those who had opposed him, he pardoned them, showing that true power is not in the ability to destroy, but in the ability to build. Mercy in leadership is about recognizing the humanity in others and understanding that to lead is not to rule over people, but to guide them. It is about knowing when to be firm and when to be forgiving. Fortitudo, or courage, is the beating heart of Roman virtue. But it is not just the courage to face physical danger, it is the courage to make difficult decisions, to stand alone if need be, and to uphold one's principles in the face of overwhelming odds. The courage of a leader is what gives their followers the strength to keep going, even when the path ahead is shrouded in darkness. It was the courage of leaders like Lucius Quinctius Cincinnatus, who left his plow to save Rome and then returned to his farm, that set the standard for what it meant to lead with honor and integrity. Lastly, we come to Veritas, the virtue of truthfulness. A leader who does not speak the truth is a leader who builds on sand. The Romans valued truth not just as a moral imperative, but as a practical necessity. Lies and deceit weaken the foundation of any relationship, whether it is between a leader and their followers, or between a nation and its people. A leader who embodies Veritas is one who can be trusted to say what they mean and mean what they say. They are transparent, honest, and reliable, a rock in the ever-shifting sands of politics and power. Now, let us consider the concept of Auctoritas. In the Roman world, Auctoritas was not just authority in the sense of power over others. It was the moral authority that comes from living a life of virtue. A leader with Auctoritas commands respect not because they demand it, but because they deserve it. This authority is built over time through consistent actions that align with one's values and principles. The historian Tacitus spoke of Auctoritas when he described the Emperor Augustus as a man whose influence extended far beyond the power of his office. Augustus did not need to impose his will. His mere presence was enough to sway the Senate, the people, and even his enemies. This kind of authority is rare, and it is the mark of a true leader. In our modern context, Auctoritas can be seen in leaders who lead by example, who live their values, and who inspire others through their integrity and character. It is the kind of authority that cannot be bought or coerced. It must be earned. And once earned, it becomes the foundation upon which all other aspects of leadership are built. Let us also explore humanitas, the virtue of humanity and kindness. In Roman thought, humanitas was the recognition of the shared humanity that binds us all together. It was the understanding that true leadership is not just about leading others, but about serving them. A leader with humanitas recognizes the inherent dignity in every person and treats others with compassion and respect. This virtue was exemplified by Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, who ruled with a deep sense of empathy and care for his people. Despite the burdens of his office, he never lost sight of the humanity of those he led. He once wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This call to goodness, to living a life of virtue, is at the heart of humanitas. In the world of leadership, humanitas reminds us that power is not an end in itself, but a means to serve the greater good. It is about recognizing that our actions as leaders have a profound impact on the lives of others, and that we have a responsibility to use our power wisely and compassionately. As we weave these virtues together, we see that they form a tapestry of leadership that is as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. These virtues, Pietas, Fides, Gravitas, Disciplina, Clementia, Fortitudo, Veritas, Auctoritas, and humanitas, are not just abstract ideals. They are practical principles that can guide us in our daily lives. They remind us that leadership is not just about holding a position of authority, but about embodying the values that inspire others to follow. Imagine a leader who embodies all these virtues. Such a leader would command respect through their Auctoritas, inspire trust through their Fides, and lead with dignity through their Gravitas. They would exercise power with Disciplina and mercy with Clementia. They would face challenges with Fortitudo and speak the truth with Veritas. They would fulfill their duties with Pietas and treat others with humanitas. This is the ideal of Roman leadership, a standard that may seem lofty, but is attainable for those who are committed to the path of virtue. But these virtues are not just for leaders in the traditional sense. They are for anyone who wishes to lead a life of purpose and integrity. Whether you are leading a team, a family, or simply yourself, these principles can guide you to become the best version of yourself. They can help you build strong relationships, make wise decisions, and navigate the challenges of life with grace and resilience. As we stand on the shoulders of these giants, we must ask ourselves, what kind of leaders do we aspire to be? Are we content with merely holding a position of authority, or do we strive to be leaders in the true Roman sense? Leaders who embody the virtues of Pietas, Fides, Gravitas, Disciplina, Clementia, Fortitudo, Veritas, Auctoritas, and humanitas? The choice is ours, but the path is clear. Leadership, like any other art, requires practice, dedication, and a deep understanding of oneself and others. It requires us to look beyond the surface, to dig deep into the well of ancient wisdom, and to draw out the lessons that have stood the test of time. The Roman generals were not born great. They became great through their adherence to these virtues. And if we too commit ourselves to these principles, we can lead with the same strength, wisdom, and grace. As we continue to reflect on the virtues that define the greatest leaders of Rome, it's crucial to understand that these principles were not just for moments of grandeur or crisis. They were woven into the fabric of everyday life, guiding decisions both big and small. The Roman leader did not wait for the battlefield to demonstrate their disciplina or clementia. These virtues were evident in their daily interactions, in how they treated their family, how they managed their household, and how they governed their private affairs. The beauty of these virtues lies in their universality. Whether you are a leader of nations or simply leading your own life, these principles apply. Imagine incorporating Veritas into your daily conversations, being consistently truthful, not just in the big things, but in the small ones too. Picture leading your life with gravitas, treating every decision with the seriousness and dignity it deserves. Think of the impact of living with Fides, building trust through your actions, so that those around you know they can rely on you, no matter what challenges arise. Imagine embodying disciplina in your daily routine, setting goals and adhering to them with unwavering commitment, even when no one is watching. Consider the ripple effect of clementia in your relationships, offering understanding and mercy when others falter, instead of harsh judgment. So, as we conclude this journey, I challenge you to reflect on these virtues and how they can be applied in your own life. Remember, leadership is not just about leading others. It is about leading oneself. It is about being the kind of person that others want to follow, not out of fear, but out of respect and loyalty. Thank you for joining me today, champions. If you found value in this discussion, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you help us beat the algorithm and consciously choose the content you want to see in your feed. And don't forget to explore our other videos to expand your knowledge of ancient wisdom and further develop your masculinity. Until next time, champions, stay strong and stay committed to your path.